Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm really excited about this one. It's pretty much gonna
What?
be...
Oh. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to open. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm really excited about this one because we're pretty much just gonna be doing a brain dump, essentially, of talking about the year 2023 and kind of reflecting on that, as well as talking about my 2024 word for my year, which if you see my past video, I'll put it up here. This is from a long time ago, but I did a word for my year video, I think it was in 2020, right before I started my first year of college, and lots of growth has happened since then, but I still love it, and I've done it literally every single year since 2020. And it's really cool to be walking into 2024 and having a new word and being able to hopefully implement it in this new year. It is currently, I don't even know what date it is. I'm not gonna lie, I've been losing track. It's January 5th. So yeah, it's only been 5 days in the new year, and it's honestly been such a great new year, but I'll get into that. So I wish I was telling you right now that I had a full-on detailed list of all the reflections and everything that I want to talk about, and I don't. One, because I'm kind of on a time crunch, but two, because I just want it to be as real and natural as possible, just like talking about the year, if any of y'all relate to different things. And with all this said, maybe grab a cup of coffee, tea, whatever your preference is, and sit down and pretty much just have a little chit chat with me. Now with reflection, this is my handy dandy little notebook. It's actually my church notebook that I finished literally a couple weeks ago, which just feels cool because I started this in 2021 and I finally finished it couple weeks ago. But in the back I have listed like all my words these past years since 2020, and it's really cool to just reflect on it. And there's something I wrote in 2022 that was cool that I like kind of was reflecting. It's really short, it's nothing crazy, but I was able to like read back when I finished this journal, so it was really cool. I just do those little things like that. But my word for 2023 was patience, and definitely was a word that I needed and kicked me in the butt and kept me accountable, and sometimes reminded myself even when I was not patient, because that's just not one of my best traits. I'm not a very patient person. Like if I have a dream, I kind of go for it. If I want to do anything, I'm a go-getter, I do those things. But what I'm trying to say is sometimes I just need to be still and pray and listen to how God may be leading me, and just overall be patient. So that's kind of the word that I was really trying to embody and use this past year, 2023, and I think I definitely learned a lot. There's a lot to do with that. I mean, this may be silly, but something that was really kind of hard for me at times was I knew I wanted to marry my now husband, and I didn't know the timeline on it. And if you're a girl, and you probably understand the feeling of like knowing this is your person, wanting to maybe be engaged, wanting to be married, wanting to start this life with this person. And we were doing long distance for a hot minute, and it's hard. And it was definitely a time this past year where I had to be super patient, and God really just blew it out of any expectation I had, and it really like blessed, I think, my heart. I wasn't perfect at it, but my heart of wanting to be patient, and especially when it came to wanting to be married and all of that stuff. And to my surprise, we ended up getting married like literally just a few months ago in October of 2023, and that whole story in itself is crazy. If you want to hear that, I'd be happy to share more, but it was definitely a blessing and crazy. We got married in 2 months, and yeah, it was amazing, and just so happy to be living this life with him, and it's just been great. But another aspect of that was I was still in college in 2023. That was my last year, which is so weird because I remember being like literally in 4th grade thinking whenever I write my name and the date on the paper, for some reason, like I don't know why, but for some reason I was like 2023 is going to be the year, and 2023 is probably when I'm going to be graduating from college. That was mainly the main thing I remember thinking, like my 3rd grade self. Obviously couldn't know I would be getting married in 2023. Obviously it's been one of my biggest desires and biggest dreams, and you know, I didn't want that to become an idol and all that stuff. So that's also why I was just trying to like focus myself in, focus on college, do all of that. But it was really hard, and being patient, almost just like the senioritis of college, and kind of how that is, if you know, you know. And just wanting to have a different change, different life pace. But another thing that I really have reflected on that's honestly been really hard for me is like life after college. And I would love to do a whole video on that, which would be more detailed and more intentional about like writing things down, really having like a full full thing to say. So if you guys are interested in that, please comment down below and let me know. But it's been hard. Like, I am naturally like I think I'm like an introvert extrovert. I think I'm like right in between. But in college, like, that's where I thrived. That's where I met one of the most amazing people. It's where I met my husband, my amazing friends till today. But I don't live in that state anymore. My friends aren't here, and it's just definitely been a hard transition. Something that I really had to learn and walk through during 2023. But I would love to do a whole video on that. I think that might be helpful for people, and just knowing that, like, you're not alone. We're all maybe in similar boats, and it can be hard sometimes, but that's definitely something that I have learned and still learning. But I'm very happy to say that I am going to Arizona literally in 5 days for my birthday, my 22nd birthday, and I'm so excited because my family is there, and my friends are there, and my husband's friends are there, and we haven't seen them in so long. It's been like since the wedding, like our really close friends, so our bridesmaids and groomsmen. But of course there's a bunch of other people there that we have such deep relationships with, and literally I'm so excited to go back because I have just missed that so much. Again, I really think we need to work on building community here. I live in Oklahoma now, and it's different, but I do love it. It's a different environment. There's different people. You have to build a whole new community, and it can be daunting sometimes. So that's something that I'm going to bring into 2024. Another thing about 2023 in this kind of candid conversation, just talking about everything and pretty much brain dumping, was there was a lot of travel, which I'm so thankful for. But my goodness, like, it was crazy because I don't even know how it all happened. It had a lot to do with friends' weddings. I was able to go on a cruise, which was literally the coolest thing. I actually vlogged that, so if you guys are interested in watching that. One thing about me is I am not an airplane person. Like, my husband, like, thrives in the airport. He's like, oh, it's so fun. You can just put your AirPods in, your headphones, walk around. You're kind of like in a movie, and it's just this whole thing. I don't know what it is about airports for me, but it's like so anxiety driven. Like, I've definitely gotten much better at it from all the travel I had, like literally once I graduated college, but definitely like not my favorite thing still, and I think that's okay. But it's definitely been, I think the transition from college and traveling and being so go all the time, it has been really teaching me that it's okay to not be everywhere and doing everything. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to still. It's okay to be patient. And those are things that are very, very hard for me. And living in a small town now has been so beneficial and so helpful to kind of get in that mindset and really like embody that. There are days, which happens very rare, but for example, this is kind of random, but Christmas was such a special time that I was able to spend with my husband's family and my in-laws, and it was literally the most magical Christmas I think I've ever had, and I just feel so blessed and so thankful. We had so many different events to go to, like a lot of different family gatherings, and it's different than I've ever experienced because I don't really have a big family, and it was so fun. But one of the, I think it was like we were doing White Elephant, and we thought it was at 7, but apparently it was at 6, and it was like the first time we were like late to something like that, and we were like, oh no, and we were like scrambling because we were working on this little like tree bread thing. For some reason, when I am like late or rushed, it like gives me college vibes. Like, I don't know if y'all would relate to this, but like genuinely, because at college, and I thrived in it and I loved it, but like I love getting coffee with people, and like classes and meetings and coffee with people, hanging out with friends. Some days I would literally have my calendar like, okay, I'm meeting this person at this time, the next hour this person, next hour this person, go to class, do all this, hang out with friends. It was constantly like go, and I took tremendous amount of like 30-minute cat naps and wake up and like boom, get ready, go, get out the door. I was also a life leader, like a leadership position, so it was like all this stuff that was like happening. And for some reason, when I'm late to things, or like if something's kind of rushed, I'm like, oh, this is how it used to feel at college, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I have realized that, and I just thought that was a weird. Did you guys hear that? It's like a noxious motorcycle. It has definitely just been like a weird thing that I've noticed, and I'm like, huh. But again, I don't know if it's necessarily a good or bad thing, but college, that's college. But yeah, with that said, with college, with friendships, building friendships outside of college, in your young adult years, being in your early 20s, it's hard, and it's something I really hope to work on this year and meet new people. And I really hope that that can happen, because it's daunting and it's scary. And part of me feels like, oh, I adore my friends. And I'm so excited to see them. It's like, I have friends. So part of me is like, okay, should I take the time and effort to do it kind of all over again? Which sounds kind of like mean, but I'm not saying it in a mean way. I really just, it's just like, it's hard. It really is. And like, put yourself out there. And then also like, we don't know how long we'll be staying in this state. We never know. Things could change, jobs could change. You never know. And part of me is like, okay, what if we were to move somewhere else next year? Our lease is over in September, so we very well could. And then it's like, okay, so do I want to invest all this time in a relationship here right now, if that makes sense? So it's been interesting. So I hope it's any encouragement to you that you're not alone, and I'm right there with you if you're kind of in the same boat as me. But overall, those were like the few key things that kind of came to mind when I think 2023. And another thing I want to talk about is what I've really been feeling on my heart lately, which I've kind of gotten into, but is, the word of simple living, slowing down, all of that stuff. I was listening to this podcast. It's called That's the Point Podcast. I'll put it right here. And literally is my all-time favorite podcast ever. They are really new to it. I guess they just finished the first season of their podcast, and then they start up their last episode January. They always come out with episodes on Wednesdays, and Kristen Johns, is that her last name? Johns? She's amazing. I followed her for like years, and then oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the poor guy's name. Is it John? Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. If you know one thing about me is I'm terrible at names. I'm terrible at it, and like little details like that, I'm so sorry. But I do know the podcast is amazing. It is so cozy. It's just like you're just talking to a friend, and I was just really into it one day, and it was just random one that I was not like, I think it was a gift guide for Christmas. So I wasn't necessarily listening to a podcast for me to like learn something or be educated or anything like that. I was just like to listen to something fun. And they ended up sharing about this devotional and what God's been teaching them, and how Kristen, the past church services, have been talking about like the topic has been like slowing and simplicity. She's like, it's so interesting because it's happened like 3 times. And I'm like, because that literally at that same week had happened to me three times before at church. That was like the topic, and I was like, okay, God, like what are you trying to tell me right now? Are you telling me that it's okay to slow down, or all the things? So I thought those little things are kind of like little nuggets that I feel that God may be like talking to me or teaching me something. So I felt like that was really special, and I ended up writing down kind of some notes from the podcast and being like very inspired. And at the time, it was December, and I still had not been thinking about my word for my year. I wasn't really like thinking or meditating on it, and then it just kind of like happened, like it was like a whoosh, because earlier that day I was voice memoing my friend. Love voice memos. And I was telling her for some reason that like, yeah, I have not really thought about my word for my year, like maybe I just won't do it this year, like I don't know. Literally that same day was when I listened to that podcast. And so one quote that I literally wrote down, so like, oh my goodness, that Kristen said, and she said, you cannot judge God based on your calendar. And I was like, and with that, she shared the verse Psalms 130, 5-7. And I'll put on the screen here. And I was like, I don't think I have fully added like a verse, so to say, to like go into that word necessarily. And at the time, I was like very inspired by that verse. I thought it was amazing, and it was very, I don't know, it just really inspired me. And so I wrote that down. Another thing that I remember writing was, in the waiting, God wants to teach us how to be obedient and still faithful in the waiting. And I was like, so true. At the time, I think I was definitely in more of a waiting season. It had to do with like jobs and things like that. And I was definitely feeling constricted, and I was just not happy, and definitely needed to hear that at the time. And it's crazy because now we're in January, and all of that has been answered. Prayers have been answered. The things that need to be resolved are resolved, and it was just really cool because I feel like it was what I needed to hear at that exact moment. And so when it comes to my word for 2024, it may not even make sense to you, and that is okay, but for some reason it like makes sense to me, to like my core. And I wrote down here after listening to the podcast that I said, I feel that maybe God is trying to help me embrace the slowness and embrace the simplicity. And living in a small town kind of helps you do that. But I just really, it's so hard for me, and I feel like I have to do all of this and do all of that. And still, even now, it's January 5th, and this is kind of embarrassing. Again, tangent, like candid conversation. I woke up at 4 a.m. for some reason, like wide awake. And I started like scrolling on TikTok for a bit, which probably not the best thing, but I was like, why not? I ended up finding this lady. I'll put her TikTok here. I don't remember her name because I literally just followed her, but it's just a lot about healthy foods and healing your body and just nourishing your body. And that's something I desperately need to get better at and learn new things and really understand how your body works, and doing like little simple things like that. Like yesterday, I tried to make this like little rosemary water for my hair, trying to take care of my hair more. This is like a second messy day error, like so sorry. But I did try it and I loved it, and I thought, this is cool. So I have it in my fridge and it lasts for 2 weeks. And so I've been trying to implement simple little changes every day, as simple as it may be, as making rosemary water. Or today I made I think it's called a prenatal drink, and I didn't have all the ingredients, but I had like a fresh squeezed orange juice, added cranberry, supposed to add collagen, and I don't have that, but I definitely want to potentially get that. What else was in there? Like learning the importance of sea salt, like I never knew. Anyway, I was just like so into it last night. Guys, this is so embarrassing. I looked at my phone, and remember I told you I woke up at 4 a.m. and it was 6 a.m. but I was just scrolling on this lady's page. I was like, oh my goodness. And I was saving all these things. I looked at this morning and I probably saved like 25 of her little posts. And then I literally went even farther to, like, I'm a notes person, so I went on my notes app and I literally added links to each one and then like defined it and then like added some ingredients and recipes that she was talking about there, because I was just so inspired. And the next grocery shop, guys, I'm going to implement, even if it's just a few things, but that to me is what I want to embody this year. Those simple little things, taking care of my body. I've been doing Pilates lately and it has been a game changer. And just embracing the slowness and embracing the simplicity. So with that said, literally I was like, both of these words are different but also similar, but also aren't obviously one word. I genuinely just like wrote down, okay, I guess my word for my year is slow simplicity, which may not make sense, but to me, like I said, to like my core and my heart, that's my 2024 word. So I thought I'd share that with you guys and kind of just how my brain got to that point and what God's been teaching me and reflecting on the year of 2023. And it's just crazy to me that we're literally in 2024. Like, it's actually insane. I totally forgot to mention that I think would be kind of fun is talking about like my words past year, because in 2020 I'm going to be doing the same thing that I did in the video way back when, and I kind of shared a very intentional definition that I found online about my word for 2020. It was flourish, and really kind of just dived deep into that in that video. Again, it'll be linked down below, but I want to do the same to end this video with my slow simplicity word. But with that said, I did want to add all my words the past 4 years, which is surreal. But again, 2020 was flourish, 2021 was intentional. That one, there's just so many things when it comes to words, it literally like embodies my year. It is crazy. It is crazy. 2022 was strength. That's a whole, like, I could literally like sit here and tell you guys things about each word each year, because strength was so key, like so key. I was in a breakup during that time, and by the God's grace, I'm now married to that person, and it was just, again, the most insane time of my life, the hardest time of my life. And before that even happened, I chose my word to be strength, because I really felt that God was putting it on my heart. And anyway, I just felt like I was strengthened more than I ever had been that year, and it's just been amazing. And it's only because of God, truly, in his power and his favor, and it's just really cool to look back on, and that's why I wrote it here. And then of course my 2023 word was patience, and this year it'll be slow simplicity, which is the first year I'm doing like 2 words, but I really like cannot go without the other. Like, I genuinely cannot. Like, I tried, like, slow, yeah, simplicity, yeah, it needs to be both. I don't know if there's a better way to make it sound better, a little more fancy, but we're going with it. And the last thing I will share is, just like I did in my 2020 video, word for my year, is the definition of what I found online. Literally searched for like 2 seconds, found it, and it was like, that's it. And it is, well, first off, I literally remember searching synonyms of simplicity, which was clarity, clearness, simpleness, and directness. And I was like, those are very key. I also found an article about habits of slow living, and it said things like slowing down, doing less, prioritizing, spending the right amount of time on the things that matter most to you. And this year is my body, my health, working out, taking care of my body, nourishing my body, and so many more things, but community even. To me, I feel like embodies everything in this cute little package ready to go to like keep me accountable for the year. And lastly, but surely not least, the definition I found says, slow living is a movement where people decide to live a more balanced, meaningful life through slowing things down and appreciating the world around them and what they have. Being thankful, grateful. Some people define slow living as simply making more time for self-care, which is another thing that I literally just want to work on. Again, like little things every day, whether that's like I mentioned earlier, and just taking time to do self-care. And that might mean maybe not doing the dishes at this moment, and maybe taking care of your skin or your hair, or doing a quick 30-minute workout. It could be a bunch of different things. It really can. And so that is my word for my year. That is like me reflecting on this past year. I hope this reaches people who it might encourage, inspire, who knows, but I just really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed chit-chatting with me, and hopefully you enjoyed whatever drink you made, hopefully, ideally. I wish I had my little concoction I made this morning because literally it was so good. But overall, like the drink, I hope that this year is just a year of refreshment. It's a year of slow living, being grateful, doing intentional things that maybe make your life a little more simple, but you're enjoying it, and doing things that make you happy, and that's most important, and loving the people around you, and all that fun jazz. But Enoch, there is a hornet in here. That was so funny. Guys, I cannot make this up. I don't even know if I'm adding this in here, but legitimately, I don't know if you can see it, but there's this big old hornet that was like flying and like fell. And yesterday, there was literally a hornet like in my window, but in the house. Really scared. I don't know if there's like a invisible hornet's nest in our home, but I really hope not, because that was weird. Because it's just weird it's happened twice, like inside. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!